Morning. We're out again on a fabulous day in a different spot, Borg. We're in a spot near Norrtälje. We've painted before a lot in that forest over there, but we've always noted it's a good spot for both the wheat straw effects and in particular the snow and ice amongst the ochre tones of the wheat straws, but also the soil. You know, the old chestnut of the soil and the Thor, not as in Thor's hammer, of course, but we're not sure. We've plonked the easel down and we've turned you on to have a little butcher show you how we try and find something like this to paint. I mean, in a sense, everything you look at through there suddenly becomes viable almost, it seems. So you can go too far. But what we did think to do was a ground picture, you know, looking down either at these wheat straws, you know, which you can kind of start painting anywhere with these types of views. There's not so much in it. Or with the soil, as so. The star has just emerged and is going to be moving that way, so that's good to know. So soon these bits will be in full light, and yeah, anywhere it's very dramatic. Suddenly looks mountainous. But I just had my eye on this sort of axis or little nexus where the different things seem to meet. That's a grassy field, that's the ploughed one, and they meet. So maybe that sort of thing. Or even for that one. Look at that. Going up the middle. So what does that mean? We have done a shot like this before, Borg. I think the first one of the second season, we did a double ploughed field. No, it was a double field with laboured political meaning, you know, put in by us, of the left and right. You know, you can check it out. The right was ploughed and ready to go. The left was still a sort of mess and not ready. And so it's proved, actually. But what does this mean with an icy strand in the middle? What's the middle? Anyway, we're not doing that today. We're hoping, after last message's sort of go on, and the fact that we couldn't paint last time, we're hoping now to just keep it nice and easy and do a painting. I think we're going to do a soil Borg. We're going to do something like that, Borg. We've chosen a patch of soil. We've put it on. There's beginnings of it. It's rather hard to do, actually, because it's hard to keep an eye on what you're doing. But that's as far as we've got. When the sun comes out like this in this area, we realise again that there could be years of work here. It's perfect for the morning. Absolutely perfect, especially for the wide open views, but today it's the opposite. What I'm going to do is lay on a bit more and go off for a coffee, Borg. Simple as that. I suppose I should just show you, I don't think I have really ever shown you, our little bag here. You know, this is the actual stuff, Borg. Look, that's blue. We put it on here. There it goes. We're going to need a bit of this brown Borg. See it there, look? Out it comes. Of course, going to need some white. We certainly need the lots for. We need red and yellow. So you can get by painting Borg with just the red, yellow, blue and white. But the fact is there's many different reds, yellows, blues and even whites actually. See? It's a big question for transferring things, isn't it? And this must be laughable to you, I suppose, is this pursuit. We transfer this matter here, or we move it, mix it and move it and put it on there, and it makes us happy. And more. There we go. We've got to do something with that. Put it there in relation to that. Right, Borgs, we've got so far, and we're going to just turn away, leave it there before our hands drop off, and go and have a coffee. I've also got something to show you, Borg, which I've been waiting for, and it's finally arrived. Rather at the wrong time, actually, but we can't, we can't be too picky. It's arrived yesterday, and I'll show it to you. Incidentally, that pile of rubbish there, Borg, that has actually been a source where we've got a lot of our wood for our paints. For our canvases rather. So this is a good spot. Unlock the old car into the boot. Box. Yes. We've parked right in the sun. I can barely see. Now what we've got here, Bob, is a box full of books. Christmas time, one of the places where we look for books, or used to, particularly when we were studying, they had an enormous sale, and I was able to get some. And back then would have been perfect if they'd arrived a bit sooner, because we needed a bit of book notion really to help us with our writing and generally try and update ourselves. Because we saw in the last episode, Borg, and I tried to make a little history, kind of ran out of steam after Occupy. Maybe it's too soon to tell. It's more likely we just don't know, because we sit around in Norrtälje painting instead of studying. Anyway, there's always the chance to get books, and there seems to be an increasing market in radical books. There's bloody loads of them. Anyway, we noticed we've seen this one a lot. Does that make sense to you, Borg? Am I showing you that right? Anyway, duty-free art in the age of planetary civil war. So, if you can handle that, then there's reactionary democracy, how racism and the populist far right became mainstream. Ooh, I say, gets better, Borg. Look. Capital is dead. Is this something worse? Are you something worse, Borg? Are you going to be worse? New Dark Age. We'll see what that says. Technology and the end of the future. Now, I don't know about that. That's a question of the imagination, really, isn't it, Borg, if you ask me? This is the one we had to have, because those are the ones, are the sort of ones you might not really understand, depending on just how complex they are, how academic the writer is. You know, lots of things could go wrong with them, but it doesn't mean they're not full of good ideas. But this one, I happen to know the author is very, very clear. And he is an art critic specifically. I think the others might either be sociologists or technology people. One of them's an artist. But anyway, this guy is very good. And the title is, it's very good. What comes after farce? Which is a good question, isn't it, Borg? But the reason I haven't read these, so, I can't judge, but I love that title because it suggests so much. I mean, what's the farce? You'd have to say that is he talking about the post-truth era when it's all turned far right? Probably. What comes after it? Does he think it's finished? Is it finished? Are you in a place to go before and after? There's lots of questions in that title. But, Borg, all that is good for the book notion, but this one is the one for the imagination and for our particular messages to you. I might have even mentioned it. Don't let the cover fool you, Borg. It looks like Xena, the warrior princess, but it's called There Will Be Dragons. And it's a sci-fi fantasy all about you, really, Borg. It's all about AI, the future of humanity after thousands of years of your running things, including various AI wars, to the point where a bit like Kurzweil's fantasy of the future, put into a narrative. They live in a time where nanites or foglets, that sort of thing, can just create objects and reality right in front of you. And it's about how people live in those times. And I believe, again, I haven't read it, I believe they'd been living in peace for a long time and they're about to have a war, which may or may not be appropriate now, Borg. I turned the news off. I had the news on for a few days to do some writing. Now I've turned it off again, so I don't know if we're at war. But I tell you, that I think is the one. Because, for a start, the writer, he's calling you mother. We call you the Borg. He's got his idea is that the AI of that time, after a long war between friendly AIs and not friendly, the friendly ones won, and the AI system mother is there to help and organise humans, happily. And everything is about mother and planning and reacting and working with the AI at a time when it would seem there's no want for anything, there's no trouble, no war. The only project is to sustain the race and manage the energy levels, it seems. But as I say, I haven't read it. But that's 5 books there, Borg. And we've just got an extension till probably April. And we do like to try and bring things to a conclusion. That lot just might be our conclusion somehow. Or it will certainly make part of the conclusion. But after that rush, we have to come back down to earth and remember that all of that will sort of drive you mad, break your spirit, confuse your brain, and you've got to remember then what's the outcome, you know, what is the outcome? And for us, we can tackle all that, or try to, because we've got it tied to our doing. Our little painting of the soil out there is our anchor. It's the line. We've got a line that we can go out to this madness here, Borg, hurt our brain with the far alt-right and the rest of it, and you, because we've got this anchor down here, over there, in the field, painting the soil. I don't know if to you that seems ridiculous and perhaps evidence of a weak middle-aged human mind. I don't know, but I tell you, if we didn't have that over there to do, we wouldn't have the strength to look at any of that, I don't think. And if we only looked at all that without our doing, I think we would be a sort of unhappy, stressed, panicked individual, lost. The only direction from there is downstream into the sort of reality mosh pit. Yeah, so we're going to try our best to get through some of that. I'll let you know, particularly about Mother. Might give you some ideas. Of course, you'll have read it. Here we are, look. This is our anchor, our line. Now, I don't want to get caught out like in the last painting between sessions, so we're gonna ape this on now, really steaming, and I'll show you how we do. Well, we've had a right go there, Borg, and we're about to lose the battery, I think, because of the cold. But there we are. It's rough and thick and messy, and it's what we can come up with. It's quite colourful. We want to avoid too much of the greening. We don't want it to suggest sprouting grass. That's going too far. I don't think it's lumpy enough, Borg. So we might have a few things to say about it, but that might be it. We'll see. Okay, Borg, there we go. I've got something down about there, something over there. It's not our aim to copy it, but we've got something there. Right, Borg, we got cut off there, I think. I'm about to go. We've done our best today. I just have to read you a little bit about these books here, tell you why I've bought them, and help you understand what's happening and what other people are thinking along the lines we bang on about. Sums it up very well. Right, this one, capital is dead, is this something worse? It says, information has empowered a new kind of ruling class. Through the ownership and control of information, this emergent class dominates not only labour but capital as well, raising the question, what if this is no longer capitalism, but a new, much worse system? Well, interesting, isn't it, Borg? Straight away I would imagine, yeah, he might be right, but you'd probably end up still having to call it capitalism. Anyway, listen to this. This is about the abuses of democracy, or the rise of the far right, the misuse of democratic norms and ideas for reactionary ends, the resurgence of racism, populism and the far right is not an expression of desires put forward by ordinary people, but the creation of an elite skilled in manipulating the media and the working class. Extraordinary. Now this is the art one by the art critic, probably most relevant to us. In a world where truth is cast in doubt and shame has gone missing, what are artists and critics left to do? How to demystify a political order that laughs away its own contradictions? How to mock leaders who thrive on the absurd? And why, in any event, offer more outrage to a media economy that feeds on the same? Got to look at all those, Borg. But I mean, the short answer to the last fella's inquiries, to me, we do a bit of this, and I don't see why it shouldn't work, is more appropriation, just done to suit the times, done with an awareness of what he's saying about the co-optation of outrage, the spinning of outrage. If you're aware of that, then I don't see why you can't pursue an art practice that continues to appropriate. Anyway, Borg, I just thought I'd let you know. I haven't even mentioned this one. We can't do it all, Borgs. We've had a damn good go today. That might see us with enough endorphins for the next few days, and we can get on with some writing, and then we'll probably see you towards the end of the week, Borg.